Hello, I'm excited to introduce you to the Admiral AP software today.
So what you're seeing here is a dashboard. The most important thing about case management or any data entry tool that you have is how do I get summaries and results from this tool? How do I get information? I don't want this tool to be a taker of my time. I want it to give me something. This is an example of several types of visualizations that can be created. Some incidents by type, incidents by value, some 2004 numbers compared to the 2005 numbers. We have some assessments by month and some nice gauge graphs here about the average value or the average score percent. Now let's say you want to dig a little bit deeper. I want to understand a little bit more about what's happened here at this location. I can click on the report here. What this will do is it will load that report and filter it down to this particular location. If you still want to go a little bit deeper, we can click on the location name itself. This will now bring us to the location profile. So location profile is what I'm calling the holy grail of this whole application. It's bringing everything that you need filtered into this location. So if you're responsible for this location, you may spend a lot of time on this profile page. What you can do here is you can click on a related tab to actually see the individual records, files, notes, resources, all of the things that you have entered for this location will be available here. We've developed this scorecard here to give you a visualization filtered down to this location in a different kind of way. So here what we're saying is these are the numbers for the company itself, and these are the numbers for this particular location. And here's kind of a percentage of how that interacts. This is very customizable, so you can add different metrics to this. You can take metrics away. You can kind of formulate this in a way that makes sense for your organization. Further to that, these are reports that we saw on that dashboard, but they're now all filtered specifically to the location in which we're on. So as you go to other locations, you can see similar kind of refinements. So there are three distinct ways of getting data in the system. Each one of them has a different level of restriction. So the highest level of restriction is where you're trying to get any employee just to report something. So what that would look like is this page here, where you can sort of see this very generic page. You can brand this for yours. It doesn't have to be this. And here you provide the access code, which would be the employee number. You would also provide a location code. And if both of those values are valid, it will then go into the system here. So here's where we can quickly enter a theft or fraud event. So it'll give us a date of when this happened. Maybe there's an event type that we want to select. Maybe we've got to give a name, an email address, a little bit of what happened. And then here we can see how many suspects. Because there's two suspects. We don't know the name, but there was a male. They were thin. They were short hair, and it was brown hair, and they did not have any facial hair. So we kind of did a little description of that individual. And the next one was, again, unknown, but it was a female. They were small. They had shoulder-length hair, and it was red. So we can submit that incident there, and we now have a record of that thing being submitted. So we can have it there. So you could have a path to this on an intranet or some sort of system that you guys would have control over. The other way to achieve the same thing here is to have this QR code. So we've developed this QR code so that you could actually go and print this at a location and post it in like the break room or something. I'm going to tap on this here to load this on my phone. So this is going to come up again. It's going to ask for the access code again. So I'm going to put that in. But it's not going to ask for my location because it knows that I'm on this particular record page here. So this QR code is linked to this particular location. So now I'm going to go through, create this injury event. Was not workplace violence. And again, I can put the date. This will look different depending on the device that you're using. But here is the kind of silhouette. So you can actually tap on areas of this silhouette. You can provide details here. You can save that. And you can keep going through and provide other information about the injury and kind of what areas of this person were injured. Very similar to the old paper forms that you would have seen. And at the bottom here, we have what was done. So was first aid administered? Was there any hospitalization? So we kind of select that as well to say, was there something that was administered there? And then we can go and submit that incident here. Quite quick to do. It'll give you a little code there so that if you want to kind of screenshot that so the person knows the confirmation code more or less, and then you're done. The next level is the store level. So at this level, these are licensed users that log in with a username and password. They will be restricted to only data on their location or data they've created or that's been shared with them. In this example, there's tasks that have been shared with them that they need to complete. Maybe they've delegated tasks to other people that they want to review. And then these are the options across the top. So assessments, safety, location resources, or theft incidents. They can click through and they can see the ones again that they have access to. They can also start a new assessment that they have access to. Your investigators who are actually going through and modifying cases from multiple locations, they would see the last view. So this is now our fully licensed user who can actually go through, create tasks and assign them to individuals. They can create new records here with these data entry forms. They can manage location resources. We're talking fire extinguishers, cameras, that sort of thing. They can also go into existing records and modify them. So here's a list of records, and we can then decide for your use case exactly what records each individual should see. Here you can see the different areas of this record. So there's been suspects entered, there's different people, so maybe witnesses or law enforcement that have been entered, some additional evidence. So if you have full page screenshots of note, you can have that entered as well, and the different items. You can create new things on here or you can modify. So let's say you want to go look at the suspect. So let's look at the suspect here. Let's go look at this suspect. And you can sort of see the details that have been entered, the images that have been entered on the individual, and all the details that are in here. And you can modify and update these if you have access to do so. If you want to create a new suspect, save a new, or you can save and continue back to this page here. We know that all the data entered into the system is potential for prosecution. So what we've done here is we've created this incident report. This is designed very intentionally, understanding that this is evidence. So we've created a cover page that allows things to be confidential. If this is actually printed off and connected together and put on top of a desk, there is a bit of a confidential on the cover page here. As well as we've created a page numbering. So you know there's 10 pages and you know the order. Again, if you're in court and something happens, you want to make sure that you can convince them that you have a complete document. You have a printed on date. So these are non-modifiable. You can't change this printed on date. So when I click print today, that's the date that's going to show up. But as you scroll down, you can sort of see the information that's been added here, in addition to some of the suspects involved and some of the information about those suspects. Now, what's important to note is that if there is no data for a tag, so this is first name, last name, if there's no data, then the label won't show up. And that's done intentionally so it doesn't look incomplete. So every record will look complete. So this is kind of a type of report that you could then print off and then provide, or download this as a PDF and then provide that to law enforcement. Going back to our homepage, there are other ways to enter data as well. So we have the safety, we have the workplace violence, and we have the incident. So this is all creating from scratch. In addition to here's all our safety records in here, our accidents and workplace violence. The workplace violence form that has been developed specifically for compliance to the California Senate legislation. So you can go and look through that as well. You also have the ability to create your own reports, like I said, create your own dashboards, or put things on your location pages for you to understand more about what's going on.
That concludes the quick demo through the AdmiralAP product. I appreciate your time, and please get in touch if you want more information.